Would you believe me if I told you the biggest plot twist of the NFL offseason arrived in a suitcase? Not on the scoreboard? Micah Parsons, the guy who turned quarterbacks' nightmares into highlight reels, just left Dallas, and the fallout is louder than a stadium wave. Reuters picture the moment, a locker room that smells like turf and sweat, a player whose number used to make the opposing offensive line rewrite their week's plan, and now that player is packing a duffel with someone else's logo on it. The Packers didn't tiptoe in, they grabbed Parsons and extended him to a 4-year deal that exploded the market for non-quarterbacks. That contract and the trade itself don't just change one roster, they change bargaining power across the whole league. ESPN.com, you know how every soap opera has that scene where someone finally says the thing everyone's been whispering? This was that scene for Dallas. The public trade request, the training camp standoff, the social media scrub. It all escalated until Dallas made a choice. Trade a generational pass rusher for draft capital and a veteran anchor. The Packers sent 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark north to Dallas. In return, they bought themselves immediate defensive terror and national attention. The optics are brutal for Cowboys fans and intoxicating for Packers fans, Reuters. But football is also a market, and markets are messy and emotional. While conspiracy boards were lighting up with rumors, the Raiders quietly checked in with the Cowboys during the scramble, a reminder that every GM on the planet was at least curious about what could be had. Las Vegas asking about Parsons was wild on paper. They already have Max Crosby. But in division chess, pairing 2 elite rushers together is a terrifying proposition for the rest of the AFC West. Sometimes the phone call is less about actually making a trade and more about sending a message. We're listening. We're willing to swing. Yahoo Tetao. There's comedy and heartbreak braided through this story. Comedy because some of the hot takes are absurd, pundits grading the deal like it's a card game. And heartbreak because fandom is made of small, stubborn memories. That one sack that made you scream at your TV, the play you replayed 1,000 times. You can trade a jersey or a ring, but you can't trade the way someone made you feel on a Sunday in October. Those feelings are the real currency here. Yahoo Tetao, let's get practical for a second. Why would Dallas do this? 2 first-round picks are future options, ammunition to rebuild, to reload, to buy on-ramp talent at lower cost under the salary cap. Kenny Clark brings veteran stability inside. The Cowboys effectively converted present dominance into future flexibility. Green Bay bought identity and immediate upside. They put money and picks on the table to say, we want to win now. Both are defensible strategies. They're just moving on different timelines. ESPN.com, the ripple effects matter more than you think. When a franchise sets a contract benchmark, especially one that reportedly guarantees well over $100 million up front, other teams recalibrate. Edge rushers and defensive studs now have a new reference point in negotiations. For younger players, that new ceiling shifts expectations. For teams with tight cap room, it compresses options and forces harder choices about whether to chase stars or build depth. This one trade is now a data point in every front office's decision tree. Reuters. But while everyone's debating the math, there's a softer dimension that gets overlooked. Chemistry. Superstars do more than produce stats, they alter behavior. Micah Parsons didn't just make plays, he changed how opponents blocked, how play callers schemed, how teammates felt about being on the field. Green Bay inherits that chemistry shock. The good, instant pressure, more sacks, and the heavy, expectations, spotlight, payroll consequences. Dallas loses a heartbeat in its defense and must answer the question, who becomes the next emotional core of that unit? Reuters. Here's where the Raiders' subplot becomes meaningful. Even if Las Vegas never actually traded, their call signaled a league-wide readiness to think radically. That's how narratives get built, not only by what actually happens, but by what teams are willing to explore. For a new coaching regime or an ownership group trying to sell urgency, being seen to call matters almost as much as making the deal. It says, we are dangerous. Sometimes that posture reshapes free agency and even internal confidence. Yahoo Tetao. And because the NFL never stops producing microdramas, let's pivot for a second to another kind of media moment, the humble, brutal power of tape. You've seen the headlines about Shadir Sanders and the tape is clear as day line from Akili Smith, a reminder that film rooms don't care about names, legacies, or highlight reels. They care about habits. Whether we're talking about a superstar getting traded or a rookie trying to climb the depth chart, the same truth applies. Small, consistent technical flaws become big problems at the pro level, and slow, steady corrections are the currency of long careers. Akili Smith's bluntness about Sanders is a useful counterpoint. The NFL rewards daily improvement over flashes alone. Yahoo Thethau. So what's the takeaway you can share in a bar argument or a group chat? First, this trade is not a simple win-lose. It's a series of calculated bets. Green Bay bet on the violent upside of one man changing a defense. Dallas bet on optionality and the idea that you can weather a storm better with more draft capital. Second, the market will react. Contracts will be different. Agent conversations will be louder, and players will have new leverage. And third, whether you're a superstar getting shipped across the map or a rookie watching tape in a quiet room, the truth is the same. The NFL is a daily grind, and feeling like a star one Sunday doesn't guarantee your place next season. If you want one line to remember from tonight's chaos, use this. You can trade a jersey and you can trade the number on the back, but you can't trade the Sundays someone made you believe. Micah Parsons will wear a new helmet, and Packers fans will sing louder, Cowboys fans will grieve, and then somehow find a new thing to believe in. The league keeps moving, and the stories, the messy, human, ridiculous stories, keep us watching. Can you believe this? The Dallas Cowboys just traded Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, and the internet is losing it. Facebook Parsons didn't go alone. Green Bay reportedly signed him to a 4-year, $188 million deal with a $120 million guaranteed, a contract that makes him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. ESPN.com in return, the Cowboys received veteran defensive tackle Kenny Clark plus 2 first-round picks, 2026 and 2027. That's the package that sent a franchise cornerstone out the door and has fans on both sides yelling into keyboards. ESPN.com. Why this matters. Parsons isn't just another defender, he's a generational talent. Since being drafted number 12 in 2021, he's been a 4-time Pro Bowler, multiple-time All-Pro, Defensive Rookie of the Year, and has racked up roughly 52.5 sacks and 9 forced fumbles through his time in Dallas. Losing him changes Dallas' identity overnight. Wikipedia reaction has been chaotic. Cowboys fans are incredulous and memes are merciless. Packers supporters are celebrating a roster-altering pickup. National outlets are already grading how this reshapes both franchises. Social media is split between "How could Jerry Jones" and "Welcome to Green Bay, Micah." Big Blue View. The angles to watch next. Can the Packers defense, now with Parsons and still riding on Jordan Love's development, flip into a true Super Bowl contender? Can Dallas turn Kenny Clark plus 2 first-rounders into enough immediate help to offset losing an elite playmaker? And will this trade be remembered as smart asset management or a catastrophic blunder for the Cowboys? ESPN.com.